Good morning, good morning, good morning. Oh. Hey, good morning, everyone, and welcome to your Flexibility Fusion Yoga with PSP Halifax today. Bear with me a minute as I had to get a new computer. My old computer had some technical difficulties. If you watched my last class on the CFP Halifax page, you'll know what I'm talking about. And this new camera has a slightly different frame, and I want to make sure that we got all the elements here. So I might have to just jimmy this ever so slightly to make sure. We got a yoga mat in the frame. We got a pillow in the frame. So you may want some props. Yoga blocks are nice. Books do the same job. I like things that are softer, beanbags, cushions, zafus, that kind of thing. But I'm really glad that you're tuning in for your virtual fitness class today. And I'm just going to read our disclaimer because in response to COVID-19, PSP is offering virtual fitness to Canadian Armed Forces members by using social media platforms. The virtual fitness classes are tailored to Canadian Armed Forces personnel, but because they're on public social media, they're accessible for everyone, so welcome. Participants who are not Canadian Armed Forces members recognize and acknowledge that their health, age, and physical fitness level are unknown, and it's entirely up to each individual to assess their ability to participate in this class. Since it is preferable to consult your physician before beginning any exercise program, we invite all participants to consult who are not Canadian Armed Forces members to consult the Get Active questionnaire down below in the comments or on the side, maybe, whichever side, of the Canadian Society of Exercise Physiology and its reference document. If you experience any pain or difficulty during the exercises presented in this video, it is recommended that you stop to consult a healthcare provider. If a CAF member sustains an injury during this video, please remember to fill out a CF98. And let's get this show on the road. Let me see, just a little more. Sorry, big old PSP flag, you're not going to be completely in the frame today. That's not bad. Let's get started. So today I plan to do some chest opening, a lot of back bending. So this is pretty intense. If you lose your breath, if you're having a hard time keeping pace, take rest, lie down flat on the floor, or take a seated position or a child's pose, anything that can help you kind of restore your breath. Drink water whenever you need to. I'm hoping that I remember to put rewind features available. If not, we can always rewatch this video later, and you can just keep up at your own level, at your own pace, which is always the best course of action for yoga classes anyway. Anything else that I need to tell you? I'll probably think of as we go along. Let's get started. Just again, quick sip of water. Oh. So now I step back here, I realize the issue with not having the whole PSP flag in the frame. Well, that's not any better. Sorry, everyone. Bear with me just 1 second. Don't want to get my head cut off. Yeah, most of this will be Malmo anyway. That's a lot better. We got most of the head. If it wasn't so tall, this would be perfect. Take a big breath at the top of your mat, standing tall, in through the nose, out through the nose. Breathing through your nose helps to lengthen the breath, which will get you a little bit more time to move as we transition between postures. Breathe in through your nose this time. And And out through your mouth. Nice big sigh to clear the throat, to clear the air. Take one more breath in through the nose. And out through the nose. Good. And a gentle warming inhale, reach up to take a big stretch out. Exhale, fold down over your legs. Inhale, push against your thighs to stretch you back up again. And exhale, lower down onto the floor, making your way into a prone position. Oh yeah, my name's Deva, and I'm from PSP Halifax. I think I mentioned that part, but not my name. It's glad to see you today. We're just holding a nice, gentle cobra. Don't need to be too high up off the floor. Just trying to get a little bit of warming through the back, the spinal erectors, help with our posture, and that will be doing most of our back bending today. Your shoulders will roll up towards your ears, back and down, sliding your shoulder blades together on your back over your ribs. Take one more breath to lift up just a teensy bit higher, and exhale to lower back down. Inhale to push up onto the knees. Walk the knees under your hips. And exhale to try to look at your belly button, cat and cow. Inhale, arching your back, look up to the ceiling. Exhale, curl your spine one vertebra at a time, tailbone down, neck down. Inhale, arch back up. Exhale, curl. Inhale through your nose, squeeze your shoulder blades together. Last one, exhale through your nose, squeeze your belly button in and up. Good, sitting back to a child's pose. You can go knees wide. I like knees wide. Some people like knees together. It's up to you. And reach your arms way out forwards. This was the posture I was talking about, a great resting posture. If you need to take any little breaks, we're going to take a side bend here in our child's pose. Walking your hands to the right. Push your hips back to the left. And feel that big stretch all the way up through your ribs. Deep breaths in through the nose, out through your nose. You can let your forehead rest on the floor if you like, but I'm going to keep my head lifted so that I can make sure my voice comes through the microphone. Breathe in through your nose last time. Push your hips back. Good. Walk your hands back to center. And you might want to just do one shoulder roll to make sure that your spine is neutral before we bend the other way. You can even push your ribs out to the right as your hands reach forwards to the left. Just trying to bend the spine in each direction a little bit at a time. So we can keep this dynamic with the breath. Moving. Stretching a little further as you breathe in. And then sitting your hips deeper towards your feet as you breathe out. One more time, in and out through the nose, remember. Walk your hands back to neutral, shoulder width apart. Inhale up onto the hands, knees back under the hips if they're not already there. And we're gonna do the same cat-cow motion flow, but we're gonna add maybe the leg. My left leg is back. Maybe my right arm is forward, but if you're having challenges with balance, you can use the right hand on the floor. Take a breath in through the nose. Maybe the leg comes up. And out through the nose, squeeze the knee into your chest. Inhale, stretch out. And up, arching, flexing the back muscles. Exhale, curl in. Maybe the knee grabs the elbow. Maybe you go a little bit further to feel the ab crunch. Crossing knee and elbow. We'll do one more with just the leg. Point of the toes at the ceiling, low back arch, curl in. Good, we'll do the same thing on the other side. Stretch out, take a big breath. Push the heel back, flex the hamstrings, and then curl in. With the hand, maybe that's a progression that you like. Last time. And making it back to center. Lean into a modified plank. Roll the shoulders away from your ears and squeeze the shoulder blades together. With the shoulder blades squeezed together, you may find that your belly hangs down like we did in cat-cow. We want to make this a plank. So pull your pelvic bones up, your ribs down. And exhale slowly as you bend your elbows back. You slide your ribs. Slide your shoulder blades across your ribs and slowly, slowly, slowly lower to the floor. Good. We're going to come back into that cobra pose, just gently lifting the chest. Reach your arms back, palms face the ground. Lift your legs up. Locust pose, Shalavasana. Keeping your gaze on the ground so that we don't, I'm going to have a little crick in my neck from turning to the left this whole time. Take a breath in and so there's many ways to warm up. It doesn't always have to be running, jumping jacks, the usual. We can flex the back. We can use our large muscle groups to contract and create heat for the rest of the body. Breathe in and stay in one place. Squeeze your tummy, squeeze your glutes, squeeze your hamstrings up. One more breath, lift. And exhale, lower back down to the floor. Push up back onto the knees. Good. And we'll do a little bit of rotation with the hand, just gently flowing 3 times on each side. We're going to do some more twisting before we start the major back bends. Inhale to twist up. Exhale to twist down. And find neutral. We'll take the other side. Try to make your breath audible when you breathe through your nose. May the 7th be with you. If you're a Star Wars fan, you can think of a Vader breath. That raspiness from the throat. Curl your toes under, rock back, walk forwards, halfway lift when you breathe in. Breathe out and roll your back down. Inhale to stand up nice and tall. And exhale, hands come to heart, sit down into your chair. I like to have my thighs together so that I can make sure that I'm tall through the spine without kind of dipping forwards with my knees. You don't want to be there. You want to weight in the heels, wiggle your toes, sit low. We're going to, again, like I said, an isometric twist. Holding this on. Use your right hand to clasp the outside of your left thigh, or if you're a little bit bendier, then you can bring your elbow to the outside of the thigh, bringing the hand to the heart, pushing the opposite hand against, and looking up to the ceiling as we twist. Breathe in, and out. Parivrita Utkatasana, chair pose twist. Lift up through your tummy. We don't want the head to come below the heart. Definitely don't want to be tilting. So sit the hips nice and low. Feel it in your thighs. Take one more breath. Inhale to reset. Hands come up, stand up. Exhale, sit back down and switch your sides. If you take a quick peek down at the knees, you'll be able to tell if your spine is doing the twisting, because your knees should be aligned. One should not be getting ahead of the other. That's happening. Maybe sit a little bit lower and twist a little bit less. There's a gentle twist in the spine. Big power up for the legs. One more breath in and out. Inhale back to center, reach up. Exhale, fold, bend your knees, soften your way down. Step your left leg back, way down your mat, and drop your knee. And inch your right foot a little wider so that you have about a shoulder width distance between your feet. Walk your hands up to the thigh. Let your hips sit into the posture. So a lot of times where we have low back pain and limited range of motion, limited flexibility in your upper spine, it's usually a hip issue. It most probably is your hip flexor, your iliopsoas. So that's what's stretching here as we set the hips into this lunge. We're gonna fire it up as a runner's lunge and get a little bit of a flow going. We built all that energy, all that heat from the belly. Reach your arms back like we did in locust pose, palms face the ground, shoulders reach away from the ears. Curl your toes under and inhale. Lift your knee up, pitch your chest forwards so that you're in the same line as your back leg. Breathe in. Exhale, lower just till you're hovering your knee an inch off the floor. Inhale, straighten back out. 3 times, so 2 more. Exhale down. Trying to keep your right knee over your ankle. And exhale all the way down to the floor. Keeping this lunge, begin to lift your arms up. Woo-hoo. So that extension of your body is going to pull the stretch even further up your psoas, your hip flexor. Maybe feeling this more in your thigh and your quad, and that's connected, so it's all okay. Breathe in. And out, sink your hips a little bit lower. 1 more breath in, reach up. And exhale, folds down, plant your hands, rock a little bit of weight back so you can ease out gently, curl your toes under, and switch feet. Stepping the feet up, you'll see your feet are hip or shoulder width apart, and switch sides. Right knee comes back. Good. Get set up here, and make sure that this stretch is coming through the front of your thigh, front of your hip. If you've been running or cycling more than usual, you may feel tighter than usual. The other culprit for health sensitivity here is our chairs, our couches, our cars. Shortens this tissue. So breathe into it, visualize your oxygen going into that muscle tissue. Visualize the carbon dioxide leaving that tissue and out of your lungs, out of your breath, out of your mouth. Good. Curl the toes under. We're getting fired up again. Make sure that you're engaging your core as you lean in. Squeeze your shoulder blades together. Palms lift. Inhale to come up. Try to lift your back heel up, high up as you can. Exhale and hover just an inch off the floor. Making sure you're not over pitching or under pitching, and the pitch of your torso will vary. And then inhale your hands up. It's always an option to do your crescent lunge, this tall lunge, with your back knee lifted, but with the knee down, I feel a bigger stretch through my psoas, so that's why I prefer to stick with the stretch, go for the flexibility right now. We can always do lots of lunges later. We got lots of classes today. Check out the Calf Connection PSP page or the PSP Facebook page. And exhale to fold, hands to the ground, ease back, get out of the hip flexor stretch, and rock your feet back up to the front. Good. Gently let your head hang. Your whole torso can hang as we target the opposite tissues, the hamstrings and the glutes. If your hands reach the floor, we want to hang. So cradle your fists into your elbows. Shake your head yes. Nod your head no. Gently sway like a pendulum, side to side with your torso. Awesome. Plant your hands. Step your left foot back again. So we're going to the lunge, but on the opposite side. We're going to take a little bit of a deeper approach. This time walking the feet, the right foot, a little wider in the front, so that both hands can come to the insides. We're looking for a dragon pose. We're activating our dragon. Squeeze your right knee into your shoulder and push back through your left thigh, left heel. So we're kind of combining the lunge and the locust. If it's accessible to you, you can bend your elbows, maybe lower the elbows to the ground. Won't be here for super duper long. It's not a yin today. We're still trying to keep it pretty active. It's still your workout for this morning. One more breath. And if you're not already there, walk back up to your hands, lower the knee, and we're going to take, again, another twist to make sure that the hip flexor stretch is connected to the low back extension. Take your right hand and reach it up to the ceiling. Looking up over your shoulder, draw your shoulder blades together to open the chest. Two more breaths in through your nose, out through your nose. You can drop your hips a little bit lower. Inhale, reach up with your fingertips. And exhale, bring your hand back down. Rocking back. This time, curl your toes under, lift your back knee and your hips up, and step your way into downward facing dog. First downward dog of the day. Again, rebounding in between these hip flexor stretches with a fold. Let your chest fall towards the ground. This is also a really good chest opener, shoulder opener. Just try not to let your joints take the most of your weight. We're actively pushing through the shoulder, through the arms. We're actively reaching back with the heels. Now we'll do the other side. Left foot steps forwards. Hands are inside the feet. Good. Curl your toes under and activate. Yeah, that back leg. Right hamstring is pushing, keeping the knee straight. And that activation of the hamstring and of the glutes is going to help encourage the hip flexor to release. Taking a few breaths here, going for your modification. Ooh, a little sweaty. Never hurts to bring a towel. Again, using the props, you have the option to bring something here if you're kind of in between elbows and hands. This is all through the lower body. So try not to overbear your weight on your hands. Good. And again, any of these lunges, if you want to keep the knee lifted, if you want to keep the heel lifted, you can, and come into the twist. But I'm going to drop the knee again. I find it helps me stretch the hamstring and focus on the twist through the upper body. Maybe a little crack of the spine, squeeze the shoulder blades and breathe. Breathe out through your mouth if you have to. Try to breathe in through your nose. One more breath. And then folding back down, twisting back down, rocking gently, curl the toes under, lift the hips so you've got room to step back again into your down dog and walk it out. Pedaling the heels, swaying the hips side to side. Good. This time, we're going to lift instead of being on the legs. We're going to try to bear a little bit more weight in the hands. Take breaks if you need. Lift your left leg up into the sky. Good. Bend your left knee and reach your toes to the right, trying to stack. Left hip over right. Push your right heel towards the ground so you stay stable. You don't want your right knee to twist into the left. Lift your knee up a little bit higher. And roll back to the ground. Other side. Right knee comes up. Right toes point to the left. You can look under your right armpit so that your head follows the twist. Or you can take a peek under your left armpit to see your toes reaching to the other side. One more breath in to lift the knee. Stack the hips. And then exhale. Come back down. Good. Walking the feet back up to the hands so that we can give our arms a little break. Loosen out. Walk your toes back to touch, big toes touch, heels a little bit apart. Internally rotate the thighs so you can feel some stretch through the glutes. Walk your hands up, ragdoll to stand. And we'll take our first standing back bend. So your hands support your low back. So they shouldn't be way up near your shoulder blades. They shouldn't be way down cupping your buttock. The pads of your fingers meet the crest of your hip, and that helps to keep the tailbone anchored towards the heels. Squeeze your shoulder blades together, and as you inhale, lift your heart up through your chest. Maybe your gaze comes across your ceiling, and squeeze your shoulders together. Your shoulder blades, your elbows, all coming together on your back to stretch out across your collarbone, to stretch out across your sternum as you breathe in, inflating the ribs. Take one more breath here, in through the nose, out through the nose. Gently stack one vertebra at a time so your head comes up last and you don't get too dizzy. Release your hands from your back. Take a breath in through the nose. Take a breath out through the nose. Inhale, reach your hands up. Exhale, gently. Let your knees bend. Let your hips fold. Bend your knees enough so that you can reach the ground. And take a big step back with one foot either way. I'm using left, but we're just pivoting the toes to face the long edge of your mat with a little bit of a pigeon toe. So again, big toes are inside the heels, wide-legged forward fold, soft knees. Because we're looking at this from your hips. We're not trying to look specifically at the hamstrings today. If you want to make this a little bit deeper, heel toe your feet wider apart because I am trying to stretch through the inner thigh, through the groin, so we can widen this out. A few breaths here. Soften the knees, try to make sure, soften the elbows, try to make sure that the shoulders aren't getting tight, their neck isn't pulling the shoulders towards your ears. And maybe the head comes a little bit closer to the floor. Maybe your hands start to walk closer to in between your feet. One more breath in. And out. And gently walking out. Start to heel toe, your feet closer together. And we're actually going to go towards whichever end of your mat is the back end of your mat as we squat down and take a seat. So I'll face you for a moment so that I can set this up. We're just taking a modified figure four, seated figure four. So lifting left ankle over the right knee. And we're just going to target the glutes for a second. So tight glutes, if your glutes are so tight that they won't contract for you because they're already feeling like they're flexed as much as they can be, then that's going to have an effect on your spine. That's going to tighten up everything in that chain across your back or your low back. And if the low back is tight and in pain, then it's going to be really hard to access some of the mobility, some of the movement that your upper spine is potentially capable of. So I've got my toes flexed, I've got a bum knee, so I like to practice a flexing of my ankle to protect my knee joint as I'm stretching and twisting in the hip. This is a deep external rotation for my hip. We've been here for a few breaths, so lean back. Unwind. Do a little bit of a rotation, side to side. A little internal, external rotation for your thighs in the hip socket to make sure that we can move safely through these ranges. Flex the toes, lifting the right ankle over the left knee. Bend the elbows so that you're not pushing up your shoulders. And then bringing your chest a little bit closer to your calf. Maybe walking the hands in, maybe walking the foot in. Breathe. Again, we're visualizing oxygen is coming into that muscle to expand and help it stretch and release, and carbon dioxide is leaving. We're purifying the body naturally with the breath. We do this all day, every day, but a little extra focus never hurts. One more breath. Good. Gently easing the limbs away from your hips so that you have a safer exit of the pose. Keeping the knees bent and the spine tall. We're going to lean back. So like a negative sit-up, we're trying to find about 90 degrees at the hip. That would be awesome. If this is good for you and you're feeling your core fired up, we're going to stay right here. If you'd like to take it a bit further, start by holding on to the thighs. Squeeze the shoulder blades together to elevate your heart. And maybe you lift one leg up. And you can do this alternately, switching sides, flexing your quads, or lifting both legs up. Boat pose, Navasana. And you don't need your hands can come away from your legs. Quads might be shaking, tummy might be shaking. We're going to take this negative down to the floor, take a breath in, and on the exhale, gently lower the whole body so the legs and the head touch down at roughly the same time. Little bit of a breather here, breathe in through the nose. Take a big sigh out of your mouth. We're going to come back to the bent knee position as we start to warm up our bridge. So you should be able to tickle your heels with your fingertips. Start to walk your shoulder blades underneath your back, a little closer together, and begin to elevate the hips. Just a little bit at first, so that we have a little bit more room. Walking the shoulder blades closer together. If you can, clasp your hands, trying to squeeze your palms together. If this isn't reachable for you, then try to grab the outsides of your mat so that you can activate your arms, leaning left and right to get the shoulder blades under, and then elevate your hips a little higher, pushing down through your feet, through your heels. Try to relax your glutes. Again, remember what I said about tight glutes, tightening the back. We're going to keep the glutes relaxed. Fire up the hamstrings, fire up the inner thighs. Breathe in to lift your chest. Take one more breath. And gradually let the shoulder blades come out as you exhale, vertebra by vertebra rounds until your tailbone touches down. And then squeeze the knees into your chest for a little bit of a break. Again, we'll keep firing up the abs, because using your abs is going to help stabilize your back. So we're coming into like a chair pose, like a wall sit against the floor with your knees directly over top of your hips. Your palms can meet your thighs, and we're squeezing them together. Thighs pull up into your hands, hands press down against your legs, and breathe. So this is a forceful exhalation practice. And we'll start with a big hiss. Take a strong breath in. Keep that force between hands and legs. And make an S. That lengthens out the amount of time that you're under tension breathing, and you'll feel that in the abs, especially as you run out of breath. Do it one more time. Good. Knees into chest for a little bit of a break. Give yourself a hug. Rock gently to the left and to the right. And coming back to center. And we'll take a second round. We'll actually take 3 rounds, so 2 more rounds at our bridge with different modifications. So if the last modification worked well for you, I'd like you to continue with the same modification or begin to explore the further modifications. So this next one, same beginning, lift the hips and walk the shoulder blades under. This time plant the hands, like I said, or clasp, and begin to lift. Good. So the modification here is going to be elevating the leg, try to point your toes to the ceiling and reach for the ceiling. So we can, again, alternate like we did with boat pose. Or hold it for a couple of seconds, 3 probably, on each side. Try and keep that heart elevated and squeezing the shoulders together. Planting the feet hip width apart. Take a breath in to lift the heart up. And then roll the ribs, the spine back down one at a time. So that stretches out the abs, but it's focusing on the upper back. Take your hands out wide, like a T, 90 degrees from your body. Stretch your right leg down, pull your left knee up, and twist your left knee across to the right side. Keeping the shoulder blades planted on the floor, just to give the low back a twist to relieve anything that's become tense or bunched up. And not too long because we are, again, taking that third crack at bridge modifications and cross over. So we switch sides. Yeah, a couple more breaths. Inhale to roll out. Plant the feet. Once in each direction with both feet on the floor. Sway your knees side to side. And if you liked either of the previous modifications, either the Setu Bandhasana bridge lock with 2 feet on the ground, with 1 foot on the ground, both are awesome, very good for the spine, very good for lifting the hips above the heart and draining out carbon dioxide that gets caught in the lower body. But otherwise, setting up for a third bridge, the wheel pose. Roll your shoulder blades under your body. Again, setting up the same. Maybe clasping the ankles or the mat. Or if you're like me and want to push, bring your arms into the equation, placing the palms down next to your ears, elevating through the hips, trying not to squeeze the glutes, and then press out through your arms to straighten and arch the whole spine. We'll be here for 5 breaths. Tuck your chin, gently roll yourself down, shoulders, vertebra, 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 tailbone, knees into chest, hug, sway. Good. Now, keeping the spine safe is our first priority. So start here with your knees bent to curl the spine. So we're finding a curve, like in cat-cow, to counter the arch that we just had. Hold on to the backs of your thighs. And just a little bit of flexion through the knees can give you some momentum. The spine stays the same, curled, so that it's safe to roll. And just taking a few rock and rolls. Keeping your abs engaged. To sit up. Now's your chance. If you haven't taken a water break at all, grab a bottle. Good. Take sips. Try not to glug your whole bottle down because you're worried I'm not going to give you another water break. Take water when you need. Good, now that we're in this tall seated position, we're going to see how the spine is doing with the modified Ardha Matsyendrasana. So extend your left leg, flex your left toes up, bend your right knee and step your right foot to the outside of your left leg. Your right hand is going to act as a kickstand, tight towards the tailbone. Sit up nice and tall and look over your right shoulder. Now, your left hand can hug or come to the outside of your knee. Two more breaths. Sitting nice and tall, head over heart, heart over hips. And unwind, keeping the knees as they are for a counter twist. And then switching direction. So stretch out the right knee, bend the left, step outside the right knee. Left arm is going to come behind you and sit up nice and tall. Again, a little bend in your left elbow will help to keep from jarring your shoulder up towards your ears. Three more breaths. Good. Unwind, counter twist if it feels okay. And then straighten out both legs. Take the right leg and extend your feet into a tall straddle position. So a little bit of a cushion can elevate your hips. Again, if there's tightness in your hip flexors, if your low back doesn't love the position, just putting that under the tailbone will help your pelvic bone be able to drop so that you can sit a little bit straighter up through your spine. As we lean into this stretch, flex your toes up towards the ceiling and squeeze your shoulder blades together. So again, lead with the heart. Two more breaths. Breathe in through your nose. Breathe out through your nose. Good. This time, bend your right knee and bring the foot to the inside of the left thigh. We're going to twist from a seated posture, bringing the left arm against the left leg and reaching the right arm up to the ceiling. So side bends, feeling the stretch. The more you twist, the deeper it'll go down towards the hip, all through that right side body. One last breath in, reach up and twist back. Inhale to pull yourself back up. Extend the right leg again, falling off my cushion here. And the left knee can come in. Right arm pushes against the thigh to encourage the twist up towards the ceiling. Left hand reaches. Relax your neck. Squeeze your shoulder blades together. One last breath. And inhale to pull yourself back up. And maybe a little counter twist on that side. And then you can put your cushion to the side as we work our way into, again, a deeper hip stretch. We started with that modified thread the needle. 2 modifications here. So first one would be lying down. We're going to start, which side do we start? Left side, left ankle over right knee, left hand in between the thighs, and you can clasp your right leg. And you can do this on either side. A little bit better to spend a little bit longer here as it is a gentler modification. Or if single leg pigeon is in your practice, then the left foot is going to cross over the mat. The right leg can reach back. And we did a similar version. The knee can be lifted just like dragon, or letting the knee rest, letting the hips rest, maybe coming down onto the elbows. Take a few breaths. If you're in the thread the needle variation, stay with it. Maybe squeeze your thigh a little closer, your right thigh a little closer, so you can deepen that stretch through the left hip. And then beginning to let the legs come back to the ground, or bring your hands under your shoulders, sway onto the left hip. So the right leg can come around, right knee over left thigh. Left leg back if you're coming to pigeon. Try to keep balance so one hip isn't higher than the other. Option to lower down if you're doing pigeon. Squeezing in a little bit closer if you're doing thread the needle on your back. Holding this at just a teensy bit longer. One more breath. In through the nose and out through the nose. Rising back up and bringing the legs back out in front. If you're in pigeon, we're going to meet back on the spine and take our hardest posture of the class, an inverted posture. So like I was mentioning with bridge, when the hips are above the heart, the carbon dioxide works with gravity to come back to the lungs. It does, even though it's lighter than air, it still has a gravity. When it's in our blood flows back to our lungs when we're upside down. So we're going to set this up the same way as we did bridge. We're going to try shoulder stand. If shoulder stand, if being upside down is very intimidating, then I encourage you to just hold your low back, hold your hips, and take a supported bridge. But if shoulder stand is in your practice, then it's very much like the second modification, but now we have our hands to support the low back. The one knee can come up. And keep the knees bent to make it a little bit easier to enter, is we're gonna put that support on the shoulders, on the triceps, and take both knees up. If you're with me, you can try to straighten the knees, and you'll see we're kind of piped. So walking the hands up the back will help you to stretch your toes towards the ceiling, so that we're straightened out using that tripod of elbows and shoulder blades. If you're feeling nice and strong, you want to extend your arms That would be your next progression until eventually we clasp the hands like in the bridge that we started with. But to get out of this, again, support the back, bend the knees, gently reaching 1 foot to the ground, 2 feet to the ground, and roll your spine vertebra by vertebra to the ground. Squeeze your knees, rock side to side. The rest of our postures will be on our back. So your hands can now find their way to the outsides of your feet, and the elbows push into the insides of your knees. Happy baby. 90 degrees at the knee, feet pushing against hands, hands pulling against feet. Rock side to side. One more breath in through the nose, out through the nose. Landing at center, pull both knees into the chest. And then extend your left leg, keeping hold of your right. So the left leg finds the ground, left toes flex towards your face. Wind relieving pose, Pavana Muktasana. Squeeze the knee against your tummy, against your core. And take deep breaths, inflating the ribs, inflating the belly. To again, encourage some flow through your filter organs. You've got, what do we got on this side? We've got liver, we've got pancreas. We've got your ascending colon. It's a big one. And then inhale to bring your left leg back up to meet. Hug onto both. Get one little squeeze. Try to keep your tailbone on the ground and extend your right leg out. Flex your right toes. And squeeze your left knee. So what do we got on this side? We got spleen. We got descending colon. There's a lot of business going on through the lower abdomen. We'll take one more breath on this side. Softly bend both knees, bring the soles of the feet to the ground. Bring one hand to your heart and one hand over your abdomen. Bring the soles of your feet together. Let your knees open outwards, sleeping cobbler's pose. You can close your eyes now as you rest here. Try to release your thighs. Notice if you're clenching in the buttock or if there's a pronounced arch through your low back. We're trying to relax that out, so maybe the feet need to be further away from the hips. That should let the knees get a little bit closer to the ground. Take one more breath. With your hands on your chest and stomach, you can feel the breath moving in your body. Now bring your hands to close your knees up like a book. We're going to take the reverse. So walk your feet out as wide or wider than your mat, and your knees will come together. So internally rotating the thighs and hips. Hands can return to monitor your breath. Notice if your breath gets stuck anywhere in the body. I have a bad habit of breathing with my diaphragm. and forgetting to elevate my heart. Commonly, you may have the opposite problem where the breath inflates the ribs, but it doesn't go down any further than that. So as you breathe in, try to feel the heart and the hands, both hands rise at the same rate, roughly the same time. Coordinating your breath. Encouraging that recovery, that expansion into this new range of motion, this new flexibility. You're going to release the hands again. Heel toe the feet back together. Open the arms out to close a supine twist. This time we're going to use both knees and roll the knees to the right, keeping your left shoulder on the ground. I find it helps to put my left palm down into the floor. A little internal rotation of the shoulder. That's up to you. If the shoulders are staying down, palms can rest up. You can even look out to your left hand. Inhale to roll everything back up. So you're coming up, mindfully resetting the spine. Notice here, plant the feet, lift the spine, roll vertebra back down so you're neutral. And then lift the knees and roll the knees to the left. For twisting on the right side of your torso, you can look to the right if you choose. And rest your eyes. Try to sink in, let gravity do the stretching for you here. Take one last breath. Inhale again to roll up. Wrap your arms all the way around your legs. Thank you so much for practicing with me this morning all across the country. So good to share our energy together. Give yourself some gratitude. Give yourself the biggest hug. And let your whole body expand across your mat, across the floor. Extend your legs. Shavasana. We take a couple minutes here at the end of a yoga practice to kind of let everything sink in and to let your body rebound before we get up. So give yourself time. Close your eyes. Relax your head into the ground. Relax your face, maybe a gentle smile if you've been really focused and forgot that you're having a great time. Relax your tongue. Relax your breath. No more worrying about where it goes in your chest or into your diaphragm, into your abdomen. Just let it hang out so that your chest can relax and let the tension slide off your shoulders, putting more weight down through your arms, your elbows, your hands can relax, letting your fingers take their natural curl, letting your belly fully relax. Giving ease down your spine as your hip bones sink through your muscle tissue. No more clenching in the butt. Helps to relax the hip flexors again. Let them be long. down your thighs. Let your thighs relax as your knees roll to opposite sides of the room. Let your legs and your whole body get so heavy now. There's no chance that even a friend could help to pick you up off the mat. Relax your feet all the way down to your toes. And if you want to just stay here, the live stream will end shortly. But take as long as you need to rest and recover. Drink lots of water. It's nutritious fruits and veggies in your meal ahead. It's a humbling opportunity to share this across the world. I deeply bow. Namaste. So again, my name's Deva Carr from CFB Halifax with PSP. Wish you an awesome rest of your day ahead, and I look forward to seeing you again.